Alright, welcome back to the show. We've been talking a little bit about E3 with Injustice 2, but let's talk about other stuff.
Yeah, so first of all, I mean, I guess just, keeping it more fighting game centric, a lot of Street Fighter V news came out at E3, right? So we saw, for example, new nighttime versions of stages. People were able to play Ibuki.
They showed new stage transitions, so like you can blow people through the wall, and then now the stage extends on the.
Were there new transitions?
The New York stage has that on the right side.
Okay.
They showed day and night stuff. Balrog was in the story mode, so
Yeah.
people saw Balrog, who actually looked surprisingly decent. I was worried he was gonna look gross, but
Was that Balrog in gameplay?
no, it was just
in
like
the story.
yeah, it was just like him in the cinematic.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess people could preview the story mode over there.
Yeah,
So.
story mode is playable.
I did see people playing that. I
Yeah.
saw people trying it. I'm like, oh, it's a cutscene. I can see a cutscene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw a cutscene. It was Armika and Geef in a wrestling ring, while Laura in that ridiculous alternate costume was just like shouting at the crowd.
Yeah, sounds like Street Fighter story to me.
Yeah, it's gonna be garbage.
It's gonna be pretty
Right.
Well,
whack.
I
Sure,
mean,
be
like
right.
the one thing that I saw, that I read about it, that I guess some people got to preview, is that they said it's entertaining. It's not like super deep, like it's not as involving as, for example, the NRS story modes. But God, I never played the Injustice story mode.
It's pretty fun.
Oh, it's cool.
I heard that it was really good.
It was an
so-
interesting game. It was the one bit I didn't agree with in the Injustice 1 story mode was the bit where they added in like sort of like semi-quick time events.
Yeah.
Where you kinda-
Where
right,
good Superman was
yeah,
throwing
yeah.
cars full
No.
of people at enemies and they were destroying
No,
them.
no.
Yeah.
Enemies were throwing cars full of people at good Superman while he proceeds to eye laser them out of the and blow them up with people inside them. And I'm like, that shouldn't.
They were just getting us ready for Man of Steel. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
It was
exactly.
interesting.
It was just a preview.
But
I mean,
yeah, the story looks cool.
also playable.
Probably gonna suck.
A lot of people got to play KOF 14 there.
Yeah, including Tasty Steve, who was there playing.
Mhm.
Ooh,
He got
nice.
to be on the exhibition, so he played with a bunch of people. I know Mr. KOF was there.
I didn't
really?
see
Yeah.
that.
Reynold was there.
Oh yeah, well, I gotta go watch this.
I heard Tasty Steve lost to Wild Wallace, I think it
Well,
was.
he got to make his cool stance though.
Yeah.
On the intro thing, he was doing that, so that's
Yeah.
cool. It's very Steve of him.
I used to watch a lot of King of Fighters back during the MLG days.
Oh
King
yeah.
of Fighters
yeah,
13.
yeah.
I used to really enjoy it. It was that Soul Calibur 5 and MK9. I used to watch all those.
Yeah.
King of Fighters has always been really fun to watch. I
Well,
think.
was
can't
it?
wait for
KOF was either 2012 had this like
Oh my
proper,
god. Balor versus... Who was it? The Incredible Grand Finals. I think it was Balor versus...
Was it Mad KOF?
I think so.
Might have been that
it was,
KOF,
yeah. Balor
Also,
versus-
Chaos playable tomorrow Wednesday Night Fights too.
That's right.
And I have
That's
not
right.
got to play it, even though I've been at a bunch of events where it's had it. So tomorrow's gonna be my first time trying it out. I'm really
awesome.
curious.
Yeah.
Well, Tekken 7 obviously was at E3 as well.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they announced it's gonna be on PC. Yes.
That's big. I didn't know that.
It's
Until you
coming
told
out
me.
on
That's-
Steam, and they announced the release date.
Dude, and so like
Or release area.
Early 2017.
Yeah.
I watched that
Yeah.
first trailer. So they showed a trailer of the story mode where it was Kuma busting in on Heihachi and they were like starting to fight, and then all of a sudden like they were actually fighting. So it was like story mode and then game,
Gameplay.
and then it was back to story mode. And I was watching that and I was like, oh, that just must be for demo purpose. They showed the story and then switched feeds to the actual fight or whatever. And then Michael Murray, the like Harada's translator, the guy that's always there for all the Tekken, he tweeted out, he's like, you guys don't understand. That was real time. Like, that was
There's no
story
loading
into
screens.
fight, like that.
I thought that was part of the trailer.
No,
No,
that
yeah,
was
me
like,
too.
yeah, see,
Wow.
that's what I thought too. That's why I didn't even notice it. I was
I
like,
wouldn't have even
oh
questioned
yeah,
it,
that was
yeah.
just part of the trailer. No,
That's
that was
insane. I'm
that
really
was
impressed by that.
literally the transition, and then
Wow.
right back out of it into story mode at the end.
Dude,
of it.
and I'm so happy Akuma is such a big part of the story mode. Like, he's
Yeah,
not just shoehorned
uh-huh.
in there. They're like, yep, here's Akuma and Heihachi throwing down. Like, it's not like he's like, it's like, we're fighting, and then, like, in the middle of the story, it's like, oh, Akuma, what's
Rash
up,
comes
man?
in from the portal opens
Yeah.
up, Rash drops down. Like,
And he's like, I'm so sick of all these cameos. And I was like, alright, fair enough. But, like, yeah, it's like Akuma's like a real deal part of the story. I was like, this is sick.
Speaking of Rash and E3, Ken Lobb was at the KI stand.
Yeah.
I've never actually felt starstruck before.
Oh my
But
god.
I actually I'm one of those guys that my childhood was old Rareware games on
That makes
N64.
sense.
It was Killer Instinct on Super Nintendo, just Donkey Kong Country,
sure.
Gotcha.
all the old classics on Super
Perfect
Nintendo
Dark.
N64.
Jet
And he
Force
was there.
Gemini.
And I was in the queue for KI because I saw RAAM was there and they were giving T-shirts to everyone that played. And I thought, I want a T-shirt. I'll play.
You grabbed me a t-shirt, right?
Yeah, sure.
Sick. All right, fair enough.
I can grab you one tomorrow.
That would be great.
I'll try it. I'll do it.
Dude, like, please, if you give him a shirt, just like pour some ketchup and mustard on it. And
Oh.
stain it.
As in drown it in it.
Yeah.
Smear it in there.
Yeah.
Let him marinate.
You don't understand. My love for KI is stronger than my hatred for ketchup.
But no,
I'm like, that's fine.
But no, so I'm at the front of the queue ready to play, and I see Ken Lobb there. OG Rareware guy that they named the Clob after, that terrible weapon in GoldenEye.
Yeah.
One of the first ever, proper designers, developers from Rareware. And I'm like, the guy on the booth, I'm like, hey, can I request a match against that man? And he was like, why? I was like, because I'll never get this chance again as long as I live.
Oh, really?
And he was like super tight on time, and he was like, yeah, sure, I'll give you time. And I forgot that Rash had a wrecking ball. I was like I was so happy playing. I was on stick, and I haven't played on stick for like over a year, and I was like, what? I don't care. And I'm like
sitting there recording it, and I'm like, why isn't he using the wrecking ball?
Wrecking ball's like his best thing, yeah.
But no, so he beats me, and I'm like, you know what? I've never enjoyed losing at a fighting game as much as I have now.
What character is he playing?
That's very nice.
Jago.
Jago? Okay. Yeah, I've seen him play Jago before. That makes sense.
Cool guy, man. He was
he's great.
well up for it as well.
I should have turned around and go, well, I've got killer rank at home, I'll have you know, Mr.
Oh, God.
You may win this round, but I'm the killer
I mean,
on leaderboards.
did he recognize you?
No.
Okay.
We don't actually get recognised by a ton of people outside of MK.
Okay.
Like we bumped into Gutex earlier, actually, and it was the same thing. Like he didn't know who me and Jake were, which is understandable because
He was like,
surprised.
oh, here's some fighting game fans,
Well, no,
Gutex was like, get out of my way, Ibuki, and he just ran into Street
but
Fighter.
that's the thing.
The big timing.
But that's the thing. Like we're a big fan of Gutex and Microsoft, and the content they have, like the X-Wing Adventures. We watched that for ages.
I've watched it for years, man.
Sure.
So it was it was a cool guy. It was nice to meet him.
So just in case people don't know, Ketchup, Mustard, follow them because they'll be at E3, so they'll be tweeting a bunch of Injustice 2 stuff. And
I hope so.
Especially tomorrow.
So follow them on Twitter so you can get a bunch of updates tomorrow. So
Also follow them because they're cool guys.
yes,
Oh,
You should
exactly.
just do that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, this, yeah, I forgot. You guys all do this.
I hear that.
We started it.
I hear that.
No, that's Foxy. Foxy Grandpa started it. I
He
saw him
stole
play the
it.
video game and then do
we
this.
started together.
Just
Yo,
don't ever go
I
to
did
Brazil
that.
and do that.
I did that when I studied in London for a little while, and I did this to somebody on the stream, and they got really mad.
Some people
It
apparently
means that you're an asshole.
now. Foxy Grandpa didn't know that. We didn't know that.
Oh, no.
Apparently,
It was people in England who told me that.
apparently, some people in France as well don't. It's not. It's quite an insulting
Yeah.
thing.
Well, in Brazil, I heard if you do this, it's basically the middle finger.
That's what this guy in London was
Yeah,
telling me. I was buying something. He was like the person I bought like a muffin from or something, and I was like, it's delicious. And he was like, you better not do that.
Honestly,
So Foxy Grandpa's just a big jerk?
we're at the Mortal Kombat Cup.
You should have been like, I'm very aware of what I'm doing.
You should have gone. Like so, Foxy wins. I mean, he still does it, right? But the Mortal Kombat Cup, people in France also find it a little bit of an insult, apparently. And at the time, we didn't know that. So Foxy goes up on the stage to accept his award. He's got a British flag on his back.
Oh, God.
He walks up on the stage and he's like,
Oh,
walks up doing that. He's doing that.
That's great.
And that's Foxy's thing.
And he's never been allowed back in France again.
That's what he was doing to them, and we didn't realise. And when we finally found out what that meant, I burst out laughing because the MK Cup was the first thing I thought of. I was like, oh my god. One thing that surprised me about E3 is because obviously it's a press event first and foremost, is the sheer amount of stuff that's there that isn't available to the public. Like that you have to sort of like book an appointment for, or
You have to make reservations for a bunch of stuff, yeah.
And I've been to a lot of shows like that, especially in Europe, but I've never been to one that's quite like that in America.
Yeah, it's really tough. Like, if you want to do a lot of the VR stuff, you have to, like, schedule an
VR
appointment.
is everywhere this year.
It's, like, super
everywhere this
impossible.
year.
You, like,
And
schedule an
that's what E3 has
appointment.
become now. It's
Yeah.
basically 4-hour lines to see like the things that you want to see, right? So
Yeah.
We queued up for an hour and a half to play Recore on Xbox One because my fiance is mad about it because she loves cute things and she loves how you've got this little cute dog metal companion thing. So I was
Right.
like, well, she's obviously not here with us, so I'll grab her some memorabilia, and they're giving away T-shirts. So I thought, why not? Queued for like an hour and a half. It was actually really fun. It's nice.
Okay, cool.
It's nice like going to a convention and just being able to do that, like a game that
Yeah,
you've seen little of but are excited about playing, and actually having a really good first impression.
Well, I mean, since we're kind of already going this way, like, what games were you looking for? Like, what surprised you? Like, even from the conferences and everything like that.
What, especially after Doom just coming out, which I'm a huge fan of. I love old arena shooters, especially ID games. So I'm just recovering on Doom. I'm still playing tons of the multiplayer for that. And they just dropped Quake on us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Like, we've only just got Doom, right?
Okay.
And then, yeah, Quake Champions.
But then Quake Champions is like all multiplayer. That's why it's strictly.
I was really holding out for it to be playable, but it's not playable at E3.
Right.
It's you take a quiz or a questionnaire, ended the quiz, got 7 out of 10 questions right. 3 ones could have done it, but I guessed wrong on the 50-50.
Right, that happens.
But everything else did quite well. I had knowledge coming from the original Quakes. When Quake went into multiplayer, like Quake Arena, Quake Live, that actually wasn't the Quake I grew up. I grew up with Quake 1 and 2, you know, where it was the single player experience. And then, yeah, but I mean, that was big. Ukulele as well. I don't know if you guys
Ukulele looks sick.
Very cool.
If anyone at home has played Banjo-Kazooie, like we all have, ukulele is like the spiritual success. That made by all the old railway guys.
It was at E3, just behind closed doors.
Yeah,
Press.
it was at E3.
Yeah.
The guys were there. We went, is it playable? And they're like, it's playable, but press only. Like, they have to go into the back room and let people capture the footage and that.
Dude, Banjo-Kazooie, I still have, like, it's one of the most traumatic things for me. Like, I was collecting every note, and on one stage I couldn't find
Was it
notes.
Rusty Bucket Bait?
I think it was the one with the tree.
Click Clock Wood.
And I couldn't find 2 notes.
You don't know?
I couldn't find 2 notes, and eventually I drowned in the water. And
Oh.
I was so mad.
That was always a risk.
Yeah, dude, there was one time I was in the water, I was like trying to swim out of the hole, I aimed right for the hole, I hit the swim button, it was like, I was like, what the
Yeah, the swimming was a little tough.
Yeah, swimming was wonky.
It's when you hit this.
It's one of the early 3D games, though.
It is,
Yeah. It's when you hit the cold water. Click Clock Wood was bad because the winter was the final one.
Oh, yeah.
And your oxygen went twice as fast.
Right,
That was what
One thing I like doing with my fiance is she shows me childhood games that she grew up with, and I did the same to her. And we got around to playing Banjo-Kazooie because it was on Rare Replay, that Xbox One compilation.
Which is sick.
She 100%ed Mombo's Mountain, she 100%ed Treasure Trove Cove. She physically couldn't do Clanker's Cavern because she kept drowning when you've got to swim through the keyhole at the bottom. She couldn't do that, and she got really sad because she wanted to see the rest of the game, but she couldn't do it. And I was like, yeah, you got 100% it. But no, Ukulele was there, but not playable.
It looks great. And it looks and sounds so much like Banjo-Kazooie. The music
it's literally
it looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
super similar.
For a Kickstarter project as well, like that game was it like £2 million in a week?
I backed
mean,
it. Like,
it's kind of
Pounds is what is that?
oh, it's
It's like
You
$2
wanna-
basically.
You want to transfer that to freedom dollars? I don't.
it's like so.
the conversion
That's
ratio?
like at this point, that's probably close to like $3.5 million.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
right.
jeez.
Don't, you
That's
look,
a lot of freedom
if,
bucks.
if Foxy Grandpa had won, we could talk pounds all day.
Oh, yeah.
Sonic Fox won, so we're talking dollars.
I've never been so
here,
sad when an American won. Did you see my tweet where I was like, "Down with freedom, go Foxy"?
I
I tell you, dude, it's never happened before where an entire crowd of people in America is cheering
For the Euro.
For the British guy,
for the invader. Like that doesn't
Alien
happen.
will do it.
That doesn't happen, but it's
Alien makes it happen.
and it was Melina. The crowd is chanting for Melina to win.
Oh,
Yeah, people
gross.
like Melina.
The invader playing piercing
Right.
to win the tournament.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
I want you to win.
Yeah,
So-
I believe it.
So for me, for E3, the big surprise that looks really sick is Spider-Man.
Yes.
God.
That
I've
game
heard
looks
good things.
ridiculous.
Look, I tweeted. I didn't realize that there was a love affair with Spider-Man 2 as big as mine.
Spider-Man 2 is best.
Right?
It's
So
ridiculous.
I just tweeted, I was like, if the swinging is anything like Spider-Man 2,
Spider-Man 2,
and
yeah.
like, everybody was like, oh my god, yes, oh my god, yes. Oh
Someone tweeted and said that I guess there was a patent on the swinging mechanic from Spider-Man 2
What?
that ran out this year.
Oh,
So like,
really?
So
someone
weird how
tweeted
that
at me
just-
and said
Yeah,
that.
Web swinging TM.
Right. So
No,
like
'cause-
now that type of swinging or whatever
seriously,
is available.
Spider-Man 2
That sucks.
is like, you didn't even have to play the game. You just swung
Swung
around
around.
the city. And it was the most. I mean, I
and
still
save balloons.
And you know what the weird thing about it is? Like, I realized after I tweeted, I still had dreams about like swinging around the city, like in Spider-Man, and like climbing the high towers and just like jumping and diving, and then like at the last second swinging on something. Oh,
dude, the game looks ridiculous. The parkour that they showed looked really sick. I'm glad that that's in a Spider-Man game. Like he like did the leap where he pulls himself to someone and hits them, and I was like, if they do this game right, I'm gonna be so happy.
Dude,
oh my god, Spider-Man game! Oh, and even the eyes did the Civil War zoom, and I was like, this could be it.
I feel like
this could be the one.
It's been a really good year for survival horror. Like Resident Evil 7 looking like an actual scary game, but also that horror game that that
Death Stranding.
Death Stranding.
You're talking about the You're talking about the Kojima game. Kojima the God came out.
It's actually coming out. It's like it was supposed to be something.
It's a different thing. Kojima, our Lord and Savior, came out and announced his game, which is something else.
So are you talking about the one with the naked guy on the beach?
That's a different game.
Oh, that's a different one.
Amazing, different thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it also looks cool though.
It looks. Oh man, I'm so happy.
I have no idea what it's about, but it looks cool.
I'm such a Kojima fanboy. It's crazy.
Is like it actually doesn't look like the original Resident Evils to me either. But
I haven't seen anything of it.
Yeah,
the demo was out. I watched people playing the demo.
First person VR.
It's VR. But there's also a VR. Is it only VR?
No,
or is
it's not only VR.
There's two versions.
I've only seen the VR one.
Yeah, because the demo is not VR, but I think there's a VR version, and apparently they called it Kitchen before when they were testing it, and there's like footage of people playing it.
Wait, Kitchen was Resident Evil?
It's become Resident.
That was its code name.
Yeah.
Dude, Capcom have done that. I remember going to loads of UK shows last year where there was Capcom had VR. Hey guys, check out this horror game, Kitchen. And that was Resident Evil.
You guys have been playing Resident Evil.
It became Resident Evil 7.
Then you guys got messed up.
So the thing is, unless it didn't start as Resident Evil and they've rebranded it as Resident Evil.
I bet you it's been Resident Evil.
It could be. It could be because Resident Evil, Devil May Cry started as Resident Evil and then got turned into Devil May Cry.
So Resident Evil 7 is first person?
I think it's two versions. I think you can play it as regular and then play it as.
Because
the demo I saw was first person.
Yeah, I'm indifferent to that. I mean, like Resident Evil for me, that I love the fixed camera angles. Like I love the remaster. For me, the remaster
on GameCube.
The remake of that, live arcade on next gen. That game looks absolutely stunning, and that to me is the greatest horror game ever made. The remaster of Resident Evil was my favorite.
Was it Resident Evil 1 or 2?
They remade the first one.
The remaster.
Everybody wants a remake.
I played it on GameCube. I think they announced it actually. But I played the remaster on number one on GameCube. Is one of my favorite experiences.
It's amazing.
Oh my god! It's
also, everybody's saying it's first person only.
Oh, it's first person only.
I'm not sure. Okay. I'm not sure about that. I kind of feel like, personally, my opinion, my first thought of that is, Capcom go, let's make Resident Evil scary again. What do people find scary? First person jump scares. Let's just do that. That's my first thought, and that makes me a little bit skeptical.
So from the demo, from when I saw it, it's very atmospherically scary.
It's more Silent Hill.
It reminds me of like PT.
I do suppose though.
Some of the PT developers are working on it.
Reminds me of PT a lot.
I do suppose though, the Resident Evil remake that came out on GameCube. Imagine if that had perfect graphics in real time. In a first-person experience, that still would have been really scary. Can you imagine being on the far end of a corridor?
Imagine that
first with doors on the side, and that's all first. That would have been really scary.
Imagine that first ever zombie encounter in first person, where it's not a cutscene. It doesn't fade out and let you walk away. That's all first person.
The zombie actually turns around and looks at you.
I'm not gonna be able to play these VR games.
No.
Well, see, my problem is
I hate scary games.
I get motion sickness from first-person shooters, so I don't even know what this VR is going to do.
So I was watching people play it, and it's like crazy. Like they're like running around this house collecting items and trying to escape. Basically, is like the demo. You have to escape this house, and there's like people inside trying to find you. So like you're running in first person, and you could hear them behind you, like opening doors and chasing you.
I'm not playing this game.
Yeah, it's dude. It is like look.
It sounds fantastic.
Yeah, I'm really bad. I don't like horror stuff.
Are the enemies like? Are they zombies or are they like Las Plagas? Like where they're like? Do we know who they are?
I'm not sure. I only saw footage of a zombie walk past the door really fast.
I saw that too.
Yeah, and that was all you could see.
And I was like, yeah, this game's not for me. I'll watch other people play this, but
I mean, because
I'll watch Aris play and throw his controller.
Yeah, exactly.
But for me. I'll be in the chat doing ATP RTSD.
Someone said that the demo was said that it was not part of the actual game. It doesn't reflect the actual thing. It's like it's just a teaser to show. The
now I
game.
actually kind of want to play it.
What I don't want
That makes me mad.
I don't want it to do that with PT where they go, the game's 100% first person, and they go, no, the game's probably not going to be first person. We just wanted to demonstrate the mood, and I'm like, that doesn't demonstrate anything to me.
Yeah.
If the game's if the game is not in first person, the teaser's in first person, and that does not accurately reflect how the game is going to make you feel.
On
And
a
PT was awesome.
on a slightly less morbid note, Crash Bandicoot remasters.
Oh, I'm so excited for Crash. Oh my, I'm really mad that they only showed
They're not playable at the
Yeah.
Sheffield.
They're
I
not
was like,
playable.
surely that's playable.
But I'm really mad they showed it was Skylanders instead. Like they came out and they're like Crash Bandicoot. I thought it was gonna be a new Crash, and then it was Skylanders, and I almost
Yo,
cried.
you remember for a couple of years in the '90s when Sony was like, "Hey, we need a Mario."
That when I was a kid, is when Crash and Spyro were
I was
like,
a Spyro man.
yes, Spyro is. Oh my god, Spyro is so good.
I used to speedrun Spyro too.
Oh man.
That game was broken.
These guys are great.
You could jump over walls, off map on every stage,
Yes,
beat the game in
Spyro
30
is super
minutes.
broken. Yeah, Spyro's super.
Oh,
broken.
it's great.
I'm really looking forward to Zelda. Obviously,
Zelda looks
I saw
good.
the trailer
It
like
looks
this
That's,
morning.
that's
incredible.
pay to play at E3. You have to buy a ticket to play it.
What? That's
I
crazy.
don't know whether you have to buy a pass, but
Nintendo
you
are
need,
genius.
You need. I don't know if that's true.
You told me that.
Emily. Emily told you that.
Because like that
you
almost
need-
sounds
you need a
illegal.
ticket.
That almost sounds
Oh, God.
illegal.
I mean, you could totally just.
You need a ticket to go through.
Right, if I go down, I'm taking you with me.
Emily told you that. I didn't say nothing.
Oh, wow.
I was not part of this.
Going down
on
the
the
chain
girlfriend.
right now,
Yeah, you see
yeah.
that?
Well, I wanted
No,
to tell
it
Emily.
was actually-
Emily's gonna be like,
I
you
mean-
told me, and it's gonna be like the whole
heard-
circle.
You
I've
need a
heard-
ticket.
I've heard Cuphead was super cool again.
Oh,
Cuphead.
but you
I
mean
got
the
my
3
hands on
seconds
it.
of Cuphead?
No, I got
No,
my
no,
hands
no.
on it last at Comic-Con last year, and only
Well,
for like
I mean,
a little bit.
Super
but it's
FX
great.
played it a little bit, I think, and he said it was amazing.
Yeah, I really liked it from when I got to
Sounds
play.
so
Super looking forward to that game.
So I was too, and when I got my hands on it, I was worried it was gonna not feel great, but it felt great.
Have you guys seen the Friday the 13th the game?
I have seen
I
it.
haven't.
I just know about it, but
I've seen
I'm
it.
so excited
Okay,
for that.
I was until I saw the game.
Oh no!
Yeah, I thought it looked gross.
I don't want to be that guy that ruins it, and I'm always skeptical when you've got a franchise and the game is named franchise the game. Think
Right.
Saw the game.
Right.
Like
Okay.
you know what I'm sort of
Well,
getting.
because it's made by like all these people who really like the original movies, and like they got the original movie people involved.
That-
in
I did
it.
not think it looked great.
That's why I was so surprised because the premise is amazing. If I was to explain to you now, as like if you had no idea what I was talking about, and I was to explain what this game was,
I don't.
you would okay. Basically, I'm going to explain it to you, and then tell me what you think of it.
Okay.
It's PvP. One player is Jason, and I believe it's like 5 or 6 others players, camp counselors.
Yeah, see, that sounds
The
awesome.
goal of the game is Jason has to kill all of the camp counselors, and the camp counselors have to survive a certain amount of time or escape or something, and they have to basically avoid getting killed by him. The Jason player has the map is Camp Crystal Lake. It's a whole island.
Right,
It's a massive area. Hidden on the island are cabins, hiding spots, tree houses. Lakes, bridges, all sorts of
Sounds so
hiding,
cool.
like bushes, everywhere you can think of hiding in an old style slasher movie. So the counselors get to hide, they get to set decoys and whatever. The Jason player has weapons to kill. He has a machete, obviously, but he can if he grabs a camp counselor, he can kill them with literally anything. You can use the floor, walls, objects, the
You
environment.
can like drag him around
Yeah,
too. and
whatever
stuff.
he wants. He can like leave traps. He can like really wound someone and see if their camp counselors come around to try and help him, and then
And
you
then
know
go after
bait them out.
Yeah.
Or at the same time, like
Interesting asymmetric combat.
like they show in the trailer, there's a camp counselor turns around and sees Jason falling behind him, and when Jason's nearby, you hear the and you see him, and Jason's walking, following him. He's like, oh, you know, crap, I'm getting followed by him.
Yeah.
So the camp counselor goes into this cabin, slams the door behind him, turns on this radio, makes it really loud, and then opens a window next to it, and then runs back into the cabin and hides under a bed. Makes it look like he's obviously ran
He
in
escaped
there,
out of the window.
you know, accidentally turned the radio on and then flew out the window. And then you see it from the camp counselor's point of view, and the Jason player like just pops up in front of the window, and it goes, and then he comes in through the door, goes in. You hear him smash the radio, and then go out around again. And then the Jason player turns around, looks down like straight at the player, and then he just stabs him through the bed. Sounds great.
Yes. Yeah.
Then you watch the gameplay. and Jason's moving like on a grid.
It's
and
like hell stiff.
It's
and
really
looks
stiff.
really gross.
Counters like they stick out like a sore thumb. They're really bright, and one cool thing is that Jason can teleport anywhere he wants at any time. So if he's like standing somewhere and he sees a camp counter on the horizon, he can bring up his map, teleport behind that player, and just appear, and then just grab it as he appears, like proper old Jason.
Yeah.
But it looks like something you'll play for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And just you've had all, you'll play.
I mean,
you'll play with your mates
hopefully
and
it's just because it's a beta, right? Hopefully they'll.
It did say pre-alpha gameplay, so there's only so much I should judge.
Okay,
I was not happy.
It didn't look fun.
It might be a game that probably a bunch of YouTubers will play against each other and make funny videos out of.
Dude, I think that would be hilarious, dude. I think it would be fun.
Ultra Chen?
Yeah, Ultra
Oh
Chen
my
play.
god.
That'd be hilarious.
Especially if it was like Steve,
Play it online,
because
man.
it's
Play it
like
online.
Tasty C, because he'd be like,
He would be making noises when he's coming after you. Yeah, Steve would be a
exactly,
jerk about it. That'd be sick.
Any other games that you were interested in that you thought looked cool? Or?
So many things, but
I think for me, honestly, I was really hyped for Injustice 2 mainly, and then they announced Quake. Like
yes.
Quake was the big one for me.
FE, that FE.
oh yeah, that looks sick
That
also.
looks pretty cool. I don't know how to really describe it, but it looks neat.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those games where you look at it and you're like, this is artsy and different and kind of
Yeah.
indie, and like it's probably gonna be good.
So sort of soundtrack you'll put on when you're trying to sleep at night.
Yeah.
I like that one that's made by the people who made Limbo. There wasn't that much
Oh,
that was shown about. I forget
yeah,
the name of the game now.
But it was like you were escaping a concentration camp or something like that, or it was something like
I
that.
don't even know. It
It was
just
like
thought
a
it looked
kid
cool.
running and like people were in jeeps.
You haven't
and
done
the
anything since
flashlights.
Limbo, right? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I'm
You
not
know, I
sure.
never played Limbo.
God of War looks cool
Oh,
too.
Dad of
Oh,
War.
God of
was
War,
kinda
of
sick.
course.
Yeah.
It's Norse now, isn't it?
Oh my god. Whatever it was, it looked ridiculous. I was watching it and I was like, oh my god. It looks so good.
Dude, I know like 3 or 4 people who are working on that game.
Right, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So, like,
Oh yeah, it's
They're gonna
also
do a good job.
Yeah, it looks
Oh,
sick.
Prey. You see Prey trailer?
No, it's like the new Prey game, right?
Yeah.
I saw like people talking about it, but I didn't get to see anything.
It's hard to describe. Like the trailer does it all the justice it could possibly
Alright, I have
need.
to check that out.
It's really good.
Ah, yes, and thanks for reminding me. We
yeah,
Happy
see, there it is.
Few.
Gilly 3D is in our chat.
Hey,
Like he's one of the guys who
Gilly
did all the
3D.
animations for. You know, he's the
We
guy
Happy
who comes
Few
with all
looks
the Guile tech, and he's the guy who has the Street Fighter 5 frame data Google Docs.
Oh right.
He's an animator on God of War. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it has been.
Let's
But
talk
yeah,
about We Happy
Yeah,
Few.
We Happy Few.
I saw
I'm
that.
very interested in.
Me too.
I don't know too
didn't
much
see
about
that.
it. Well, there was a video there was a trailer, I guess. Is
Yeah.
what it was.
Okay.
It seems like some crazy Orwellian dystopia
Yeah.
where people have to take their
Meds.
their
It's called a
meds,
joy.
called a joy pill that I guess distorts the world in some way, and the main character doesn't want to be on joy anymore. And so there's this scene where everybody has like Joker masks on, or Joker paint, I don't know. And
It's like the Greek tragedy mask, basically.
right, yeah. So he has to go into the work. There's like a birthday celebration
Yeah,
or
it's
something
like
like
a
that.
work thing.
Yeah, like a work party, and people are beating on a piñata. But then the joy wears off, and it turns out actually they're beating on some dead animal, and blood splattering everywhere. And he's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then
And
later
they
realize
realize
that he's not on joy, so he has to escape.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and like the game has choices. Like you could choose there to take your joy, and then like the story goes one way, or you could choose to not do it, and then they're like, "Oh, well, he's not on it," so they chase you and try to kill you.
It just
So-
looks,
someone
the
in
art
the-
in it just looks really
Someone in
interesting.
the chat said that it was like Yomi Yugi in the chat's like, "Whoa, FGC made God of War." I mean, have you played God of War? It's like everything
it's
is
not just
canceling.
Gilly. There's a
And then
few.
Eric Williams worked on it, who's a Zangief player.
Yeah.
And my friend Derek, who works on the
Yeah.
game, is joking. He's like, you know that he is a Zangief player because when you hit the throw button with Kratos, like everything just gets like sucked in there.
Like super far.
Yeah, man. That game has really heavy FGC
Yeah,
designer input.
Like I know, like on some of the sequels,
Omni,
like,
Derek Daniels.
Derek Daniels, a bunch of guys worked on that.
Anyway.
So.
Yeah, We Happy Few looks cool, and
Yeah, it
then
looks sick.
There was that one Detroit game that was made by the Heavy Rain people.
oh yeah,
that
I
looked
want to bring that
Yeah.
one up too. That seems like it's like you're reading one of those pick your own story novels.
Choose your own adventures.
Choose your own adventure. Yeah.
Because the interesting thing about it is Heavy Rain was touted to be that way, and really it wasn't very much
Yeah.
like that.
I never
But-
played those hard story paths go off.
Right.
Yeah.
I've never played one of those games.
See,
I've
the
never
thing is,
PS3 or PS4.
it didn't
Yeah.
really stray
haven't
that
been that
much.
real- yeah, right.
But the way that they were playing it out in the trailer, it just looked like there was just like 7,000 different ways that
Yeah.
things could turn out. So
And that was
it
just,
looked
like, one
really
scenario.
interesting. Yeah, so it looked really interesting to me. It's really interesting.
All right. Anything else about either of them?
Nah, for me, it was Injustice 2, Quake, and Ukulele.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are good choices.
Good choices.
Okay.
Holding out for a new Turok Man one day.
One day.
One day.
That would be
Turok.
sick.
One day.
That would be
All
super
right.
sick.
I played a lot of that.
Do you want to talk about the whole skipping pools thing, or do you want to save that for next week?
Yeah, maybe we should save that for next week. We're getting a little later on
Yeah.
Okay.
We're deep.
on the side here. Yeah.
We have that effect.
We
we
can ramble too, friend.
We tend to
Yeah.
just waffle on, and then we've lost 2 hours.
Well, you want to take a break and we can talk about General RAM?
So are we gonna have waffles with ketchup and mustard then? I mean, never mind. Okay.
We are wearing the
Well-
same shirt because we are fresh off E3 where we were at the Injustice booth.
Yeah.
Just to
Makes
clear
sense.
that up.
All right, let's ram our way into the commercials and we'll plow on through.
Hey.
Hey.